You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting. Hello, welcome back, Skyrim Addict Podcast. I'm Michael. Ray's here.
Hello, hello.
And Victor's here.
Good evening.
We're back. Ray made it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
It helps if I get notification the day of. When you tell me a couple of days in advance, it could easily slip through the cracks in my brain.
I totally get that. The days become meaningless sometimes.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I make the Fallout feed every week is because it happens every single week at the same time.
That's a fair point. Yeah. That's like regimented, so you know exactly when it is. Yeah.
But and it also happens to be trash day.
Oh, so there you go.
I know if the trash cans are out. Okay, today's Friday. I need to,
there you go.
Good. I like that. Yeah.
So, but
that does make it easier.
It's hit or miss.
Every day's a weekend. Oh gosh. Well, my I think I had mentioned last time my Skyrim on Xbox stopped working. I couldn't even reload it. Every time I reloaded it, it wouldn't work. Still, I think having that issue, but I think I may have finally solved it. Of course, I have to rebuild all the mods and everything that I had, so I'm going to start over fresh anyway. But yeah, that I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but I think I got it working. We'll see. That's for another day to figure out.
Yeah.
I only had so much patience to figure out if it was working or not, because every time I would re-upload it, I would just hop in and play something else while it was uploading. So,
yeah, and then you get distracted.
I'm sorry. Yeah, when it was downloading. So yeah, and I would start doing something else. I'm like, oh well, that's done, but I don't really feel like getting aggravated at not working again. So I'm just gonna stay doing what I'm doing over here. I did start playing Oblivion again, however.
Wow.
Vanilla on good old Xbox. Yeah, the combat is just the same as I remember. I'm doing a little bit of everything, a little bit of magic, a little bit of one-handed, and a little bit of archery. The archery really is the biggest difference it's all a little clunkier than Skyrim, we'll say. But yeah, I would say the magic is better, honestly, because you can cast while you have your weapons.
Yeah.
So that I actually think the magic is better. So like when I'm running through a dungeon or something, I can throw up shield, a shield spell, which is basically like the oak flesh or whatever, something like that, essentially, without having to put my weapon away. I can just cast it. Or even like if I'm in the water, I think if you're not swimming and you're in the water, you can do it, but I'm not sure if you can cast it while swimming or not. I guess you would have to, because I think you can cast water breathing while you're swimming. But yeah, it's like the being able to cast while actually holding your weapons is actually, I would like to see that come back. Also, I'd like to see it stay in the redo of Oblivion, actually.
Well, I was going to ask, has that been somewhat debunked now? That whole, I thought that there was some debunking going on with this Oblivion, reboot from Bethesda.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen too much recently.
Okay. I was watching I think it was a Juicehead video the other day where he was talking about something else, but he sort of mentioned that as an aside that there was some serious questioning as to whether that was actually a legitimate rumor.
Yeah, because I know there was some ES6 things popping up again.
Yep.
For the summer, like announcements possible.
Yeah, and those included
like rumors.
Exactly what you were just talking about, that ES6 would bring back spell
Oh, spell crafting.
spell
Yeah.
crafting.
Oh, yeah, because I was
and all
watching.
that, yeah.
What's his name? What's the other guy that Todd Howard was on? Maddie or something like that.
Oh yeah, Mr. Matty Plays.
Yeah, Mr. Maddie Plays. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think he was talking about the Juice Head video actually.
Okay.
So I actually did see. I saw a recap essentially of what he was talking about there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something about ES6 and because it doesn't make sense. Like I don't know how it makes sense to re-release Oblivion as a whole new, essentially completely rebuilt, and then also announce ES6. Like
as much as
later
as I'd like to see that,
I just don't see that as
Well, I guess what they're saying is they don't think you're going to play the Oblivion remake for more than 3 years.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it could though. I mean, technically, it depends if what they're remaking. Are they remaking all the DLC too? I mean, because like Shivering Isles is pretty decent sized DLC.
No.
You got the Horse Armor DLC.
Oh yeah, that was
the infamous,
great, best DLC of all time.
The classic Horse Armor DLC.
Yeah.
And you got some like Castle, like Battlehorn Castle and stuff like that.
Yeah,
were DLCs, but so I don't know. It doesn't make sense for like one to be released and one to be announced like a month later in the same summer. I don't like that. Doesn't seem like a very Bethesda thing to have happen realistically.
No, it doesn't.
And we had C3 over the weekend, which is the Modders Conference. And the guys from Skyblivion were there.
Oh,
showing off, their gameplay at this point, which looks really good. And, you get the shivers from, the NPCs talking to you and, the recognizing the voices and everything. So it's looking really good. They're still hopeful to have it out this year. They said they would love to be so far along that they would announce, at C3 that they were releasing it right away. But they said, now we still have a lot of stuff we have to get through before it's ready to release.
Mm. That's such an amazing undertaking that they've been doing. It's like, is it like 5 years at this point?
More than that.
Is it more than that even?
But it looks great.
Yeah, it might be.
Sounds good. The graphics were really nice. Everything was, the little bit of time that I did spend in Oblivion, is definitely recognizable in their gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, an updated graphic Oblivion would look. I mean, just this setting is really great. There's like a lot of great landscape features, a lot of great cities. The cities are, cities like Skingrad and all are much more extensive than like Whiterun or even Solitude to the extent it is. They're like more intricate almost, like in the details and like the housing and the alleyways.
The buildings have a lot of character to them.
Yeah. So I think if you update it, it would really, really shine really well. So I don't know. We'll see. With the rumors, anything, like who knows until it's announced with Bethesda anyway, or with anything. So I mean, I'm hopeful for an Oblivion one. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Because there was also the Fallout 3 remake, same thing. It was on that same list of things from the FTC filing and all that.
Right.
So from the lawsuit and also. I would love to see that too, because I did love Fallout 3 quite a bit. It might be my favorite Fallout. I don't know.
I'm currently doing a New Vegas.
Oh, the Wabberjack playthrough, right?
Yeah, with an alternate start mod.
Wow.
That's right.
So that's been interesting.
Yeah, because you were saying I was listening the other day. You don't get shot right away, right?
Right.
Something? Yeah.
Yeah, I started the game in Novak.
Oh, nice.
And you're friends with the town, and you've got the hotel room or motel. I keep calling it a hotel room. It's a motel.
Oh, it's a motel. Yeah,
100% motel.
Definitely a motel.
It's been an interesting way to play. Very slow leveling
Really?
because you're really not,
Yeah.
dumped right into all those quests, which is where most of the XP comes from in New Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so as far as Oblivion, I decided I kind of wanted to play it again just because of the possible remake, and also my Skyrim was broken, so I was like, oh, and I haven't played this for a while, so let me go back and play some Oblivion. And I don't really feel like doing the main quest. I've done that so many times in my life, and I don't feel like dealing with the Oblivion gates. If you think like dragons are tedious when you're playing Skyrim at times, because we've all done playthroughs without dragons or with dragons or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, the gates are far more tedious than any kind of dragon encounter you can have if you're like set on closing them, because they're just like, I kind of speed run them. I usually get some chameleon armor and then just sneak through the whole thing and run to the top, and then just hop and grab the sigil stone or whatever is up there and close the gate. But I mean, that's the fastest way I found. But they're very, very tedious to close after a while, and there's only so many variations of them and all that. So there's all that kind of thing. But and you can only get so much. I mean, and if you get over encumbered in Oblivion, you're not moving anywhere, so you can only get so much loot while you're there, and all that kind of stuff. So I decided not to go do anything with the main quest whatsoever, and kind of just do the little side quests that I kind of usually put to the side when I replay it.
That's cool.
I want to do like the factions and all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing like the silly little ones, like the what is it, Go Fish, which like you walk right outside the Imperial City. I think the little area is called Y or something like that. And a lady is like, I need 6 slaughterfish scales from the lake over here. It's not as fast as you would think, because they're just not. You got to wait around. And you got to swim in the water and have them come attack you. So I'm kind of in the middle of that. There's a Shadow Banish Wine quest where it's they're in a bunch of different forts that are also attached to other quests. So it's like helping me hop off and do these other like small town quests from other towns. So I've been doing because I don't think I've ever recently finished the Shadow Banish once. I did that, and then I did there's one where there's a ship in the docks on the Imperial City, the waterfront. And I was going to go to sleep. I'd forgot that whenever you go to sleep there, it sails away. And like bandits take it, because I was going to go to sleep because I had killed someone. I was like, oh, well, then I can have Mr. LeChance show up and we can start Dark Brotherhood. He doesn't show up when you sail away, however. I was like, this would be interesting. I wonder what happened with this. But so I kind of did that. There's a whole thing where you got to go through the ship and, get it back to the Imperial City, essentially. I did eventually sleep somewhere else and have him show up. And what else? Oh, there's one where I was doing the Shadow Banish Wine, and I had to. There's a fort you go to, and you think one thing's happening, you're saving someone, but actually you're locked in, and it's a hunting ground, and you're being hunted.
Ooh.
So you have to go take out a couple hunters and stuff. So I enjoy those. Their little quests have some pretty decent stories to them. I always start off with the Thornir one in the city itself, because he's getting all his goods from somebody who's grave robbing.
Yeah.
And then you got to follow him around. Those follow quests can like last a really long time, because they don't like go directly to where they're supposed to go. Like, is there any follow quests in Skyrim? I'm trying to think. Is there one even?
Not really.
Not that I can think of, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
There's the Thieves Guild, right, where you have to follow the Argonian.
Oh yeah.
Into the.
Down to the East Empire
That's
Company.
Right, through the East Empire.
Yeah.
But that's like direct. He goes to the East Empire and then goes through the East Empire Trading Company tunnels or whatever, warehouse and all that. No, Thornir goes to the bar hangs out at the bar for like an hour.
Goes
then
talks to a couple of guards.
Yeah,
there's a couple of Civil War quests in Skyrim that sort of mimic that, but not.
The ones.
Not any quests.
Is that the
courier?
Courier,
Forge the documents.
Yeah,
you have to find where the carrier is and all this stuff. And,
but they're really formulaic. They don't.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I remember doing that one where you follow the dude around. They're like, "Go, where are you? Wait, no."
Yeah,
and you're like,
all day.
He just went to he went to the inn. Now he's leaving. Now he's probably going to where he has to go. Nope. He's stopping and talking to and they're like long conversations too. And you're like, oh my God.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm like, I do appreciate like the slowness of this, but I'm like, I also want to get through the quest at some point because I only have so much time in my life at this time. Yeah. This probably would have been better 25 years ago when I had more time, or whenever Oblivion came out. What is it? 20 years ago almost at this point, or pretty close anyway. Skyrim's what, 14?
2007, maybe 2009.
Yeah,
I forget. Yeah,
7, 8, something like that. So 17 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a good long time.
Yeah, so you follow Thornhill for a long time and finally, get to the whole thing. But then there's the other one in Skingrad too, where you got to follow the guy. I forget the guy's name over there, where he's like in his house and he's like, everybody thinks he's crazy or something, and you got to follow him around. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. But I do like some of the little differences, like ghosts and stuff like that, and spirit, whatever different type of spirits like that. You can't attack with anything but silver or magic. So like if you're just shooting regular arrows at them, it doesn't work. Or I think you can hit them with hand to hand with swords, but I think it works. They have to be enchanted or silver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But magic obviously works. But yeah. So I mean, I like those little differences actually. I kind of like quite a bit. Like some of the little details that make it a little more difficult. The leveling, of course, is much more simplified in Skyrim than it is in Oblivion. And you don't level up as fast. You got to sleep, obviously, to level up. But like sneaking through the sewers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I'm enjoying it. I don't think I've played as a Khajiit recently, and they start off with like really high acrobatics, and man, you can do some serious jumping in Oblivion too. Like, especially if you're like running down a mountain, definitely don't jump.
Oh,
yeah.
Because like
get a little too much air.
Yeah, depending on that angle, you're like really going pretty far and like
really actually
far.
That's funny because Valheim is the same way. If you have
it is actually
a fair amount of stamina and you jump at the wrong spot, man, you are going to die. Yeah, I
definitely did that in the mountains there. Yeah. What are they, the ice drakes or whatever they are?
Yeah.
I've definitely jumped off of stuff and been like, oh God, this is too far.
Yeah. You can kind of skew it because you can move around while you're falling. You can sort of point yourself in an okay direction, but you're still kind of 50% chance of just basically splat.
And they've got that in No Man's Sky as well. Only they give you a death announcement.
Oh no, really?
Whenever you die,
your trajectory will kill you.
well, it always is. Died from a sudden stop.
That's good. Well, isn't that always it? It's not true. The fall; it's the end of the fall.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I would say definitely like similar physics to Valheim as far as the jumping and stuff. Yeah. The Khajiit is very nimble and jumps very far. It's like kind of floats through the air. It's like, very good sneaker too. I do like playing as the Khajiit. So I'm just going to be going along, picking off like all the little kind of side quests and stuff, and kind of. I'll probably like do the Dark Brotherhood or something like that. I think I did that last time. Didn't we do it as a round table? I think it may have been a round table.
A long time ago, yeah.
It may have been Juan and Colin and I. I'm not even sure.
We did the last one we did was Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. I was thinking that's right. Shivering Isles. I think they did it. But yeah, that's right. We did Thieves End and the Dark Brotherhood, which is a good combo. You get that gray cowl, and then you take it off, and nobody even knows who you are. It's miraculous. But yeah, I don't know. It's on Game Pass. If you want to play Oblivion, go out and give it a try. It's definitely dated. The combat's dated. You'll feel that a little bit, but it's still worth
go play that and play Witcher 2. So
yeah,
very similar DNA.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you Ray, did you hop in any? Did you say you hopped in on the Fallout feed a little bit of Skyrim?
Yeah.
Oh.
So a few weeks ago, when the latest Skypothesis build came out.
Oh yeah.
That looked good.
I got about I don't know, maybe an hour and a half in, and just I can't figure this character out to save my life. So they call it a chronomancer.
Oh yes, I saw that one. Yeah.
And so you're controlling the flow of time. So you're blind and you're supposed to be wearing Mirax robes and stuff. So they want you to go through and go do the Mirac quest at the very beginning of the game.
Oh,
that's hard.
Yeah. And I mean, I just couldn't figure out how to really play it. And so I also heard about a mod called Sea Dragon, which is a sailing ship. And so I scrapped that character and made a pirate, a dual-wielding pirate.
Awesome.
It's married to Isolde and has 2 kids. And I'm currently trying to round out my crew. So I've got Faendel in there. He's the one that set the rooms up for the kids. And you can pack a lot of people in this boat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it a floating boat? Is it like it'll go to any
you can fast travel to all the ports.
Yeah.
Right? So you can go to Dawnstar and park it there. But if you have if you're using a Dawnstar City mod, the front of your boat's going to be T-boned into a second ship that is added.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's there. Yeah.
And then you can also dock at the docks in Windhelm.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's really nice. It's well fitted out. You can have a ton of crew. It's got I think 3 jail cells. So you can so they famously in their video demonstrating the mod lock up. Crud, what's his name? The guy that complains about, says you've never been to the Cloud District.
Oh,
yeah. Nazim.
Yeah. So they send Nazim to rot away in the ship's
everybody
cell.
hates Nazim.
Oh, that's great.
I've got the Missives mod running too, so I sent one of the vampires that you have to hunt down. Instead of collecting the bounty for her, I sent her to be in my jail cell.
Perfect.
But I've never been married in Skyrim. I tried once and it didn't work. I kind of got stuck halfway through the scenario, but this time it worked fine. So. Isolde's on my ship. You use the adoption mod to set the place up as a home.
Yeah.
So you do the bless spell, and so I was able to send a couple of kids, the little flower girls, one from Windhelm and one from Whiterun. So sent them to hang out with Ysolda.
Excellent.
So now I'm just trying to figure out, find people. So I tried to get a couple of different people to join my crew, but they declined. Well, one of them was the guy that meets you in Markarth after the Wayland scene.
Yeah, Eltris. With
Eltris,
the tattoos
but
on
I
his
think
face.
because he's a quest giver,
Yeah.
he's like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah, because he has to die.
Yeah.
So that would be hard to make that work. Yeah.
That's most of what I've been doing in Skyrim. And then, so there was just recently a new mod released for Silent Hunter 3, the submarine simulation game that I played so many years ago. And talk about old games. So that game was released in March of 2005.
Wow.
But this new mod makes it possible to play on a modern PC. Part of the reason why I stopped playing it was because as I kept making better and better PCs,
you can't play.
I had a harder and harder time getting it to run until finally it just wouldn't run at all. So now it runs great. But the thing I didn't really think about was that, so when I played this game before, it was the only game I played. There wasn't really anything else I was playing at the time. So I just played it. Well, now I'm playing like 5 or 6 games and this game takes hours and hours and hours to do nothing.
Oh, wow.
Because you're sailing from Germany to the far side of Ireland. And you've got a little bit of time compression that you can play with. But the thing is that as you get into, dangerous waters, time compression gets you killed.
Yeah.
Because there's less time between the time that your crew spots an enemy destroyer and, the position that enemy destroyer is in when you come out of time compression. And so the faster your time compression, the closer they are. So I was getting a little free and loose with my time compression and ended up having to spend quite a bit of time in real time getting away from the destroyer and their depth charges.
Spent some time with Davy Jones.
Yeah, I was definitely hugging the bottom of the ocean. But so that was not necessarily the smartest game to pick back up and get hooked up with everything I've got going on at this point. So I'm about to the point where I've finished my second patrol. And I think I probably will wait to go out on my third.
That sounds great.
So.
It's cool that I look back on some of the games I played way back, like Dungeon Master, and I've tried. There was a really sort of faithful sort of reboot of Dungeon Master. I think it was called Grimrock or something to that effect. But going back and trying to play games like that sometimes, that and Deus Ex, if you try to go back, it was one of my favorite games from the 90s. And
that one was a lot of fun.
It was great, but I went back and tried to play it, and it just I bounced off of it. And the same thing happened with Grimrock and Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master was wonderful. It was so much fun. It was sort of one of the original proto dungeon crawlers. I played it on my Amiga, but yeah. Anyway, I get how it's tough to go back.
Yeah, it's fun. I love the game, and it's just as intense as I remember it.
Yeah.
But it is it is a submarine simulation. And one of the things about submarines was that it was, hours and hours and hours of absolutely nothing, punctuated with, very short periods of intense activity.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to go back, but I think I'm gonna probably have to, wait until I've got a little more time.
Yeah.
To sink into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if I don't have enough time to play a game, it takes a lot of time to play the game.
Yeah.
That's fair. Oh God. Well, you had mentioned ships. That was the other thing that was in that video, was the possible shipbuilding in ES6. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was the game that they were showing? Was that like
it was an Assassin's Creed game? Yeah, it was Black. It was Black Flag, maybe, I think.
Actually, it was I don't know which one I forget which one they showed, but in Odyssey, actually the last 3 all had ships, I think.
Yeah, it started with the Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because that was
that one definitely had ships.
Yeah.
But you could, I think it was Odyssey had you could upgrade your ships and battle at sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the last one,
Mirage.
No, the one where the Viking one. What the heck was that?
Oh, Valhalla.
Yeah, Valhalla. Yeah. That also had ships as well.
Yeah.
I will say I hated the ships. It was my least favorite part of those games.
Well, that's because it wasn't really very well done. I mean, it was sort of done in the Ubisoft kind of way, and it didn't work very well.
They were super annoying. There was, I think in Odyssey, you had to use the ship at times to battle. Like there was certain battles you had to do to continue the quest line. For the most part, though, you could run away and just go. But man, they were real. I hated these. I hated the ship battles in Odyssey. I hated it so much. That was like my. I loved those games, and I hated that function of it.
They were great games, but
that function just didn't work for me. But yeah.
But the idea that they would take the the spaceship building tool from Starfield and turn that into a shipbuilding tool.
It sounds
pretty exciting.
It sounds great. Yeah, it really does. It sounds great.
Yeah, especially if you're going between places and it really becomes a functional way, or it becomes like a functional home as well.
Right.
As a ship would be at that time to travel different places,
Well, I hope, Starfield suffered because it's the universe, or at least just a galaxy. It's still hard to move around in such a huge space.
Yeah.
And so, you compare that to like I don't want to, belabor it, but you compare it to a Valheim where you have a fixed world. Yeah, it's a globe, but you're I found the shipbuilding in Starfield interesting, but ultimately unsatisfying. And I guess that's because it never felt like I was really building a home or a place that was mine. It was just sort of yet another example of, whatever Bethesda thought the pieces of ship could look like. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I suppose, when I try to explain it, but it just never felt really like I was building something that was personal. So
they changed that a little bit when they went with the empty habs that you could decorate yourself. And you can also decorate inside the existing habs.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of customization that they've added to that's made it a little better.
Yeah.
And of course mods.
Yeah. Well, mods. Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, it's it certainly has a lot of potential if it's done right. I think there's a big open area of water, that will have, if those two maps are, where the game is going to be.
Mm-hmm. You mean like High Rock / Hammerfell and you got, is that what you?
Yeah. Cause you've got the section that meets up with Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got all the way across to the other end where there's that long peninsula on High Rock.
Right. Well, High Rock meets up with
Hammerfell.
Skyrim, and then you go to the Sea of Ghosts north of that, right? Plus, and then south of High Rock is Hammerfell, which is sort of on the western side of is it the Gerald Mountains?
Oh, yeah, the Jarl, I think. Yeah.
But you've got what is it, Iliac Bay?
That's on the other side, though, isn't it?
Is Iliac on the other side?
Oh, no, maybe I've got my geography wrong. Yeah.
Because I think it's essentially, what would it be, due west of Volkahar?
Okay. That would be the north coast of High Rock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So is the Iliac Bay is between High Rock and Hammerfell?
And Hammerfell, I believe that is what that bay is called.
You're right.
Where is it?
It's been a while since I looked it up.
Yes, my fantasy geography is off.
It is Iliac Bay. Yeah. That is what it is called.
But yeah, you could have some nice, pirate battles in that.
Yeah, totally.
In that space.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
And it's also, like you're saying, a confined space. So you're not like just out there.
Yeah.
There is limits to where you're sailing, where you're going to, how far to get where you're going and things like that. If everything holds and it's these places and in this setting and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. For lack of a better word, it's parochial, right? It's not not like you're sort of flying out into the galaxy and so I guess our brains are more wired for local.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to understand infinite space, I guess.
Yeah.
Possibly infinite space, whatever you want to say. Rather than, the bay goes from here to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I will say, like, even in Assassin's Creed, I felt the ship battles worked better between ports, like when I was in a tight area, than when I was like sailing long distances and out in the open sea.
Yeah.
I felt, because it was like, I don't know, just the scale. It was like, oh, okay, the port is over here. I'm coming in here. I'm over. I have to break through there to get to here. It just felt made a little more sense. It was difficult maneuvering at times, but that was just the capability of the game at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see where shipbuilding could be good. And if you add like you're joining X faction or Y faction, and you can adapt your ship to look like you're in X or Y faction and all that kind of stuff, and
and the hire crew and
set up trade routes, maybe, who knows, for income, things like that. But it
Have
definitely opens up more options.
Have either of you played the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
It's getting great reviews.
Yes, I've heard.
I'm kind of stacked up at this point.
Yeah,
because I haven't finished Stalker 2 yet either.
Oh, geez.
And the thing that I discovered when I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance was that it's, because it's so dramatically different than all the other games I play, it really took a lot of concentration.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was a pretty janky game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but it was kind of, I felt like I did when I was playing like Witcher 1, and
Yeah.
the combat is kind
It
of.
was a great game for the $6 I paid for it.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah.
But this current one, I haven't played it, but I've listened to some commentary on it, and I gather it's much more approachable.
Yeah, that's certainly what I've heard.
Yeah,
But I think that, we'll see what's on the Steam summer sale.
yeah. I have the
Because
one.
I'd probably pick up Avowed then too.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sean. So Sean's been playing a lot of Avowed, and so my oldest is a sort of an uber gamer in a lot of ways. He's really enjoyed the game for all of its. There's little bits and pieces that are kind of annoying, but so I trust his judgment on games, and he's liked it a lot. I haven't tried it at all, so I'll say it's sort of Sean certified. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't tried it yet. I, on the other hand, and I seem like I do this every time we do a podcast. I've just like sort of scratched the surface of a game, and so this time it's Ghost of Tsushima, and
okay.
I just last night I ran through the sort of the tutorial intro, and it was wonderful.
It's certainly a beautiful game.
It's gorgeous. Oh my God. The scenes where you have these giant Japanese maples and the leaves are falling. And it's just, it is an absolutely gorgeous game. No doubt about that. And I downloaded, I bought it and downloaded it because they just came out with the next episode. So, which of course won't hit PC for another, 10 or 11 years maybe. So I've got plenty of time to play this game. But it is a gorgeous game. And very story driven, of course.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got for it. Pentiment, I played through a fair amount. I would say it's a wonderful game. It's cheap. It's a really cool sort of 2D medieval game. That's wonderful. I won't say any more than that. It's just highly recommended. It's a great game. And funny and weird and quirky and tragic and all that stuff.
I think I've seen that on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was on Game Pass. I don't know if it still is, but it was when it came out. So yeah, if you have Game Pass, you can play it free, so to speak. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Any No Man's Sky or Fallout updates, Ray?
Just going through the new Worlds Part 2 update that dropped a few weeks ago, and just put a ton of content in the game.
Cool.
Just an absolute ton. So definitely been having a lot of fun doing that.
That's awesome. It's amazing how much they keep adding to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so much in this new, part of the game. I mean, nobody would have ever complained if it was a $25 or $30 DLC.
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow.
Because there's just so much stuff in it.
Yeah.
And they've had so many of those big updates. The World's Part 1 was like that. Origins, all these, where they've added major, content to the game. But it's all been free.
Yeah.
So I think this was the 30th update since it released in 2016.
Good for them.
And you can tell that they're really excited about their new game. Because as soon as they figure out how to do something really cool in that game, they put it into No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
That's amazing.
And so, I mean, it's just the graphics level alone has just been massively updated.
Oh, wow.
So, now you've got, waves that match up to the weather. So if you get a
Oh.
storm, the seas get rough. If there's just a rain shower, you'll see little droplets of rain hit the surface of the water and make rings.
Well, I hope they did it. I haven't played that update of No Man's Sky, but I don't think anybody has ever done seas better that I've personally seen or played than what's the Microsoft pirate game?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah.
So if it's that good, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played enough Sea of Thieves to remember.
It's gorgeous. Just the animations and the lighting. So that's all. It's nothing.
This new update added extreme depths to the oceans, and so there's water covered planets that the water is 2,000 meters deep.
Wow.
Where before, if you found a really deep spot in an ocean, it was probably around 90 meters.
So how do you plumb the depths?
So they have a submarine.
Okay.
So we've had a submarine ever since they introduced exocrafts, which has been quite a while, but you never really needed one because the water was never that deep. Well, now you have to have one because you can't swim that far down.
Yeah.
Without running out of air. So you have to have a special, pressure compensating membrane in your backpack.
Yeah.
So that when you get out of your submarine at depth, you don't immediately die. But I built a little base. It's about 1,400 U down, and it's just inky black except for the bioluminescent plants. The occasional fish will swim by and be lit by the light of your habitation unit.
That's great,
and it's just amazing.
Yeah, it just sounds amazing. I'm one of those people that has a deep primal fear of deep water. I could not possibly, I can't even play Subnautica. So I would not do that.
Yeah. And you definitely feel it because as you're going and going and going and going in your little submarine and it gets darker and darker and darker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't get any light until you get down to the very bottom.
Oh, wow.
So
I was just looking. No Man's Sky will be 9 years old this summer.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. Still no release date on Light No Fire.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it's it's definitely
not
yielding a lot of good stuff for No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still no release date for ES6 either. So there's that. Oh, God. Maybe one day we'll get an announcement about that. Maybe one day we'll get an announcement about Oblivion remake. Who knows?
Yeah. Never can tell.
Never can tell. But I guess anybody else have anything else?
No, I'm done.
Yeah. Until next time, we'll be playing some games and we'll talk to you about them then. See you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, all.